Hello and welcome. In this lecture we're going to be learning about setting location, calling functions in C++ so that we can bring a cube to a new location when we start playing. As you can see here, this cube suddenly appeared when we started playing. Let's dive in and see how functions work in C++. So let's take a look at how functions translate from Blueprint over into C++, particularly using functions. At this stage, we'll have a look at how to create our own later on in this section. So to refresh your memory, this is what a function looks like in Blueprint. You can see we have a node, we've got input pins on the left, output pins on the right, and we can plug things like a variable into an input pin. To do the same thing in C++ looks like this. You use, again, function names have no spaces in them, so instead of having a set actor location node as separate words, we have it all run together using camel case. And then we have our parentheses, and inside the parentheses we have a list of inputs, and these inputs could be more than one. You can have them comma separated, but for the first instance we're going to just have one, and these inputs are actually called arguments. Don't ask me why, I don't want to have an argument about it. So we are going to have to put these variables in, but you don't have to pass variables. Variables are just one way of doing it. You can pass values as well. So if we had a situation like this where we wanted just to set the location to 1, 2, 3, we can do that in C++ as well by using the fvector constructor directly inside the parentheses for the function. So that means that we set it to a specific value rather than the value contained inside a variable. So let's give that a go. We go over to Visual Studio Code and we're going to have a look at the begin play just after we have updated the my vector. I'm going to add a couple of new lines and I'm going to start typing set actor location. Make sure you type it correctly because names have to match exactly in C++. Then you open your parentheses and in here we are going to construct a new fvector value. So it's going to type fvector. Open parentheses again, and in here we are actually passing in arguments to the constructor for fvector. So this is very much like calling a function and then passing the value of that function into another function, but we'll talk more about that sort of stuff later on. And what we can do here is type in 1, 2, 3, and that means that the fvector 1, 2, 3 is going to be passed into set actor location, and then we can put a semicolon at the end of the completed line. So let's go into Unreal, let's go ahead and compile the code, and for us to be able to see the effect of this, we need to go to our moving platform actor. And you'll notice there are actually no components on this actor, which means that it can't actually have a position because only components can give it a position. So we can go ahead and add something like a cube to this moving platform actor. We'll go to the add in the details pane and we go down to cube. And that gives us a cube, and we can go ahead and hit play and see whether we're able to set this actor's location. We can click on the moving platform and then we can eject using the eject button in the toolbar, and then double click on moving platform and you can see it takes us to the moving platform's location. And with that selected in the outliner or in the scene view, we can have a look at the details pane and we can see that sure enough the transform says that its location is 1, 2, 3. We have set that correctly in C++ code. Now for this next part, it's going to be just confusing if we are setting the y value of my vector from the my x variable. So let's delete that line in begin play. For me that's line 19, and I'll delete a few of the extra empty lines there so that we've just got one between the super begin play and set actor location. Then I'd like to challenge you to use a variable instead of constructing the fvector in place. So replace the fvector constructor that we're using, update the my vector so that it has a different location. Can you bring it so that it is closer to the player? When we hit play, the cube is actually positioned somewhere where the player can see it. Pause the video and have a go. Hello and welcome back. So the way we do this is by removing this fvector and its parentheses and its arguments. That's what they're called, remember. And then as the argument to set actor location, we are going to type my vector. So it's going to use the value inside the my vector variable to set the actor's location on begin play, when we begin playing. So let's go into Unreal. Let's stop play for now. Let's have a look at the location of our third person character. We can see that this is the location here. What I can actually do, you could copy each of these manually. You could actually just right click on the location, click copy, go over to your moving platform, and where we have my vector, we can right click and hit paste. And it's going to paste the entire vector right in there. So now we know that our moving platform cube is over here at 0, 0, 0. But if I hit play, well, actually not very much happens because I forgot to compile. This is the thing to always remember, that we do need to compile any changes to C++. So we must hit that compile button, and only when that is complete will we actually see the changes that we've made. So let's go ahead and hit play. And there you go. We've got the cube standing right in front of our player. So we've successfully moved it in begin play using C++ code. Great stuff. I'll see you in the next lecture.